Hello and welcome in to another episode of Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner on Twitter. Thank you if you're watching there. I know it's late night, but I appreciate anyone sticking around, coming in, seeing how we're doing. I appreciate all of that. Um, Also, if you're watching on Apple Podcasts, please give the 5 stars, ask a question, throw a comment in there. It'd be nice to see what you guys are all thinking, guys and gals, persons, what all you people are thinking, people in a good way. Also on YouTube, I know a lot of people watch the Champions League broadcast from earlier in the week. Appreciate that. And the more that I get in terms of feedback or in terms of views and things of those natures, the more I will try to get in there and get you some more, including tonight. It is a late night here in Dallas, Texas. It's about to be the 27th of October, the best day of the year, in my humble opinion. But we got some Europa League, some Europa Conference League to go over. And I'm didn't do my best to try to focus in on the teams that I actually have a read on, because there's a lot of them in these competitions that I don't. And so this might be a little bit quicker of a podcast, but I'm sure everyone is probably happy about that. And then we'll return to a much longer version on Friday for the weekend card. So without further ado, all lines quoted on this podcast are courtesy of betonline.ag. It's my favorite place to get my bets down early and with reduced juice, offering almost every game you want to bet right up until game time. Please use the promo code found in this podcast description to fund your account, and you'll receive a match bonus. And I think I might even get a piece of that from BetOnline for, I guess, thanks for following my link to get in there. And we're going to start in the Europa League, which is the most competitive of the remaining, because the Champions League finished its play today. And the first match that we have is Zurich hosting Borussia. Zurich, a really surprise team out of the Swiss league that ended up winning it and getting to this place, but they're half a goal dog to a at home to not a very great team. Borussia, I believe, are from Denmark, could be Norway. Unfortunately, not much to do there if I don't know where the country is. AEK Larnaca, I believe, from Cyprus. They're a quarter goal underdog to Dynamo Kiev, which is saying something considering how much Dynamo Kiev lost. Besides the war in Ukraine, their home field, all that sort of stuff, but a lot of players that left as well. Still a pretty strong team that nearly qualified for Champions League. Fenerbahce then hosts Rennes, and I feel like that's a pretty good matchup for me to focus in on, as I have Rennes to finish in a European position, similar to this one in League as a future this season. Rennes didn't get off to a very good start, but have been playing very well since then. Currently in the group, both of these teams are on 10 points. And I think that if you don't win your group, you have to then survive a playoff to continue on in the Europa League. So that's pretty big, considering it's the last time they play each other. Fenerbahce ahead of Rennes right now because of goal differential of 4 versus 3. AEK, Larnaca, and Dynamo Kiev are really far away. Surprised to see Larnaca an underdog at home, considering Dynamo Kiev bottom with 0 points so far, yet are a road favorite. That stinks, but probably means if you're a value player, probably means that Larnaca is probably worth it. But ultimately, that would scare me a tick. But anyway, back to Fenerbahce and Rennes. Currently, Fenerbahce is currently a pick'em to Stade Rennais Football Club, and I gotta say, coming into this tournament, I thought the Turkish teams would have a lot more respect, but they weren't really loved by the marketplace and really haven't performed that well. But Fenerbahce certainly has, and our traditional team in Turkey. I think I'm waiting to see when Rennes move to a quarter goal underdog. And if they do that, I'm pretty interested. Yeah, fighting a big crowd in Turkey. I feel like the crowds there are really famous for being intimidating, loud, all those sort of things. Rennes certainly are used to that when they play the biggest clubs in Ligue 1. But from where I sit right now, nothing to do at Pick'em, but I'm interested in Rennes if it climbs higher, as I think they're one of the best teams in one of the best leagues in Europe. Next, we'll go Ludogorets hosting Real Betis. Currently, Ludogorets a quarter goal underdog at home. Real Betis has been all over the place. They've been playing so many matches. Really disappointing that they lost Atletico Madrid at home last weekend. But I feel like Pellegrini's done a really good job of rotating their best players. They certainly take some ridiculous red cards. So I imagine Sergio Canales is available for this one after missing the weekend. I think from where I sit with this Betis team, they're good against inferior competition. I think Ludogorets are one of those. So the underdog at home doesn't really do it for me. Malmo then hosts Saint-Gilloise. Currently, Malmo a half a goal underdog at home to Saint-Gilloise, who have been really, really good in this tournament. Great start to it all. I mean, they look like they might even have advanced already. They're on 10 points. They're not fully there yet. Union Berlin, who we'll get to probably and speak to at length later, as they have a big one with Braga coming up. That's actually the next game on this list. Union Saint-Gilloise are off to an awesome start. Malmo are last place team on 0 points. I just don't know. It's hard to say when the teams are like clearly out. Malmo could win their last two to get into third place finish, but I don't think that really matters. And ultimately, they have been so bad that I don't think I want to back them. The next one is the one I was alluding to earlier, Union Berlin, a half a goal favorite at home to Sporting Braga. I love the Portuguese clubs in these European competitions. I feel like they're always underrated. Union Berlin, on the other hand, is always underrated in the Bundesliga, but seems to be appropriately rated in the Bundesliga, or excuse me, in these European competitions because they have not done a very good job of balancing two matches in a week. Their Bundesliga form has been great as they're top of the table, but their Conference League last year, they crashed out, didn't even make it to the knockout stages, which is pretty disappointing for them. Got the Europa League this year, and now they're kind of fighting with Braga for that second spot to move on to the knockouts. And I like Sporting Braga getting that half of a goal. I didn't watch this first time around when they played. I probably should have, as I bet Union Berlin in that one. I think from I guess Union didn't look very good this weekend. I think lost at Bochum and the way, I mean, they have a lot of trouble, I think, as a favorite. They're almost a guaranteed playoff of mine each weekend when they are an underdog. But Sporting Braga, they're going to play a tough game. They're going to keep it pretty tight. I think Union will do the same thing. And Union, I mean, they have great strikers and striking talent. Also might be missing Yana Cabarer for this one due to injury. But I think it's really hard for me to kind of see them as a favorite, though I realize it's a different competition. They're playing a lower league team. But I don't think the Portuguese Liga is that far off from the Bundesliga. So I like Sporting Braga, especially when a draw wins half a bet. And ultimately, I think Braga will be holding on for that because it'll still give them a 1 point lead as they move into the last, I guess, matches within the Europa League, the last match day. Lazio then hosts Michelin. Currently, Lazio a 1-goal favorite, Michelin a minnow. And Lazio haven't been allowing goals this year, and we know they can score them. So I'm not really interested in the underdog there. PSV Eindhoven, a pick 'em right now at the Arsenal. Currently, all the juice on Arsenal on the road. I do like Eindhoven or PSV, as I think they prefer to be called. I do like PSV if they move to an underdog. I liked them the last time they played Arsenal in the makeup last week. I mean, this is a really quick turnaround, especially in Europe, but nothing to do there just yet for me at Pick'em. HJK Helsinki then hosts AS Roma. Roma have a lot of work to do to advance here. Helsinki, a 1.5 goal underdog at home, but they are really bad, and I think Roma can wipe the floor with them. Manchester United then hosting Sheriff Tiraspol, 2.5 goal favorite are Manchester United. Big number, but I'm not interested in getting away with that. Amona Nicosia, a 1-goal underdog at home to Real Sociedad. And Sociedad have been, finally their streak was ended with a tough match on the weekend, but they've been playing really well. Amona Nicosia, I just don't think they can really compete here. So even getting a full goal at home isn't enough for me. Sturm Graz, who have been getting a lot more respect this year than they did last year when they were horrible in this competition. They're a 0.5 goal underdog at home to Feyenoord. We're a really strong Dutch team, and I just don't know that I've enough interest in backing Sturm Graz in that situation. Freiburg then hosting Olympiacos. Freiburg killing it everywhere they play, essentially, besides when they go to Bayern, but have won all their matches so far, have a 10-goal differential. Essentially, I think they need a point here, and then they probably can get through the champion, because Karabag will need to win too. I mean, maybe not a guarantee, but Olympiacos on 1 point at the bottom of the table. They were favored to win this group at one point when I was looking at the futures. So seeing Freiburg a 1.25 goal favorite, all the juice on Olympiacos, but even if it falls to 1, it's hard to know what Olympiacos is fighting for, as they need 2 wins to just tie Karabag. And I feel like they're so far behind a goal differential that it's not going to matter. So they might not be playing their best here. Nantes then hosting Karabag, and Nantes are a 1/4 goal favorite at home. Finally got a good result this weekend, you thought, until the late penalty, which seemed really soft to me. But that's what happens when you're not playing well. Nantes, I probably see themselves having a chance to move on, but it's they're 4 points behind Karabag. So this is a big matchup. I guess if they win here, they can get back to only 1 point behind and potentially leapfrog them in the last match. So that does offer some motivation. 1/4 goal favorite, though, not interested in anything but Karabag here. And I feel like they're still worse than a Liga team, even though not have not been impressive. I guess I lean Qarabağ, if anything. Last but not, or second to last, so penultimate, Crvena Zvezda, Red Star Belgrade hosting Trabzonspor, another Turkish club. And the Red Star Belgrade side is a half a goal favorite at home. All the juice on Trabzonspor right now. But I don't know that I really want to get involved here. As Trabzonspor, I feel like I had a lot more respect for earlier. I mean, they've been doing better than Red Star have so far. Red Star bottom with only 3 points, Trabzonspor on 6, Monaco on 6 and third is big surprise for me. I guess I like the half on Trabzonspor currently, just based on Crvena Zvezda's performance. They've been, of course, they had to come from 0 points, I think, to get to that 3 of the win in their last match. But ultimately, I don't really know, because I feel like the Turkish sides have been getting so disrespected, and this line doesn't change that. So I feel like the market is just telling you the Turkish teams aren't that good, besides Fenerbahce, of course. And last but not least, Ferencvaros hosting that Monaco side. Monaco with awful defense this weekend. Crazy to score 3 goals on the road and lose. But Ferencvaros, a half a goal underdog at home, leading the group on 9 points. Goal differential is 0, so that might be a little bit, I don't know, that doesn't say a lot. But Monaco certainly are looking to try to win this group. They need to win here as a half goal favor on the road, but they've played a lot better in the last couple of seasons. They've been a much better road team than they have at the Stade Louis II. I lean to Ferencvaros at home, but I'm not sure I really want it that bad. Best bet, I think, for Europa League, I'm going to go where I was talking about earlier, and that's the Sporting Braga half a goal underdog at Union Berlin. I think that's going to be a really tight match. It's going to be really hard for Union, and I feel like this might climb to 3/4 of a goal when people say see a Bundesliga side facing a Portuguese one. And that might be enough to give a little bit more insurance, where a single goal loss will only lose half a unit. Next, I'll move to the Europa Conference League. And same sort of story here. Going to try to go through the teams that I have some sort of feeling on. And we'll just go through it right now. Then I'll give an ultimate best bet end of show. So stick around. But Fiorentina currently 3/4 goal favorite at home to Istanbul Başakşehir. Seems really low to me, but Fiorentina have been really struggling. They finally scored a bunch of goals, but fell apart at the end. It's sad times for Fiorentina ultimately, but less than a goal. I don't think I can play Başakşehir. Anderlecht then hosts FCSB, excuse me, it's late. Anderlecht, a 1.5 goal favorite, which is a big number for them. I feel like I like FCSB, but I'm not sure that I have enough on them. Austria Wien then hosts Lech Poznan. Currently, Wien not a half, not a quarter, a pick 'em right now with all the juice at home. I lean to the dog, but not strong enough lean. Villarreal then hosting Apple Beersheva with a big emotional win, and then all these rumors and everything about Unai Emery going and leaving for Aston Villa was tough. And they haven't been off to a great start, but I'm not sure that an Israeli club can really hang. And Villarreal, a 1.25 goal favorite, is kind of feels like some of the lines are getting or giving to La Liga teams. Nice then hosts Partizan. Nice, a 3/4 goal favorite. And that speaks a lot to a team that hasn't really been performing anywhere. Got that late draw from Nantes, but it was at home, and they've been really unimpressive. I just don't know if Partizan are really on the same level. Slovakia then hosting Köln. Currently, Slovakia a half a goal favorite at home with all the juice. Köln, it's tough to rely on goal scoring from their situation, which is crossing the box, trying to find a tall man in there. They have really sorely missed Anthony Modeste, and I don't think that will change for this one. And as a road favorite, I tend to lean the other way. I just don't know if Slovakia on 4 points. I mean, they got a good win last time out. It was really important, but ultimately, I mean, this group is crazy, seeing Partizan in the lead ahead of Nice and Köln. But ultimately, I feel like these teams aren't that different. So I like Slovakia a little bit at home. They're a much older team that finally got into Europe. Vaduz then hosts AZ Alkmaar. And Vaduz at home is a 1.25 goal underdog. I'm not messing with that one. Same with Hearts hosting Rigas Football Scola. I think the Latvian side are underrated here, getting 3/4 of a goal, but I don't know anyone on their team. West Ham then hosts Silkeborg. Currently, West Ham a 1.25 goal favorite, and I'm not a really believer in them. I just don't know that Silkeborg are on a level that can challenge them, especially after seeing West Ham give a full goal to Bournemouth this weekend. Dnipro then hosts Apollon. Currently, Dnipro a half a goal favorite. Got nothing more to say about that one. Molde then hosting Djurgården, and that interests me because Molde is a 3/4 goal favorite. I didn't think Djurgården were that far off, I got to say, but the line certainly says it is, even though Djurgården are in first place on 10 points in the group. Molde are 3 points behind them, certainly are trying to fight to try to get that changed, but lean to Djurgården if anything. Shamrock Rovers and a 1-goal underdog at home to Ghent. Numbers are never high enough. I can't make mine high enough to match what the market puts out there on Shamrock Rovers. So they must be terrible. KF Balkani, they're a 1-goal underdog. Slavia Prague, who's gotten a lot of respect all season. Sivaspor, quarter goal favorite to Cluj. Not much there. Basel 1.25 to Zalgiris Vilnius. Basel have been really good for a lot of time now. Urs Fischer, the manager of Union Berlin, came from there and seems like he left a pretty capable team, side, club, manager, all that sort of stuff. And last but not least, Slovan Bratislava hosting Punic Yerevan. Currently, Punic getting 1.25 on the road. And I think that's going to wrap up the Europa League. Europa Conference League. I'm going to give a best bet here. And not a lot of choices here, but I'm going to go Slovakia getting a half of a goal at home from Köln. But ultimately, the best bet, I'm going to stick with the Europa League for that one. And that's going to be Sporting Braga, a half a goal underdog right now on the road at Union Berlin. Might climb to 3/4 by the time this kicks off. But thanks for listening. It's a little bit shorter of an episode, but it's late night. So appreciate everyone coming in. The_G Warner on Twitter. If you want to follow up with me, please hit the referral link in the podcast description, or jump on, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or give 5 stars to the podcast, or on Spotify. I didn't mention that earlier. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and hopefully we'll get some winners tomorrow.